You ever hear someone yell, "That's my God-given right"? Yeah. Okay, let's unpack that. Because, as comforting as it sounds, that phrase might be one of the most hollow, self-serving myths people cling to. What rights does God actually give you? Not in theory, not in slogans, I mean in the real world. Let's find out. Here's the truth. Rights are not handed down by God. They're created, protected, and enforced by people. They only exist because we as humans agree to honor them. You want to see how many God-given rights you really have? Alright, drop yourself on a deserted island. No clothes, no food, no tools, no other humans. Just you and God. Now ask, what rights do I have here? The right to life? Sure. Right up until you die of thirst, exposure, or starvation. The right to liberty? You bet. You're totally free. Free to chase rats, dig for roots, and hope you don't eat the wrong mushroom. The right to safety. Tell that to the predators stalking you at night. They don't care if you're created in God's image. Pursuit of happiness? Yeah. Nothing says joy like sunburn, dehydration, and hallucinating from hunger. And while you're out there praying for a miracle, spoiler, God ain't sending rain. He's not sending a care package. And he sure isn't showing up with a survival guide. It's just you and the brutal silence of nature. So what happened to your God-given rights? Turns out, they don't mean much without society. That's the thing. Rights only exist where people do. They're part of a social contract, a system we invented so we could live together, without tearing each other apart. They're not built into the universe like gravity or sunlight. They're built into constitutions, laws, customs, agreements, and they're wildly inconsistent. In one country, you can say whatever you want. In another, you go to prison for insulting the king. One country lets you protest in the streets. Another calls that terrorism. One nation values individual liberty. Another punishes people for dressing the wrong way. So let me ask you this. If rights are truly God-given, why are they so different from place to place? Did God hand out one set of rights to Americans, another set to Saudis, a different one to North Koreans? Or are we just making this stuff up as we go? Here's a better question. If rights are divine, why has God never enforced them? Where was God during slavery, during genocides, during colonization, when women weren't allowed to vote or own land, or even speak in church? Where was the protection when people cried out, "This isn't fair," and got nothing but silence? If God gives rights, why is it always people who have to fight for them? Let's talk about the Bible for a second. Because people love to say it supports equality. Really? Because the same book that says we're all God's children also says, slaves, obey your masters. Women, stay silent. Disobedient children, stone them. Free speech? Not when you question God. Just ask Job. Or the folks at the Tower of Babel. Freedom of religion. Try worshiping a golden calf. That ended well. Freedom of expression. Sure, as long as you don't wear mixed fabrics, or eat the wrong food, or say the Lord's name wrong, or work on the wrong day. Let's be honest. The Bible isn't a bill of rights. It's a control manual. Now, when someone says God-given rights, what they really mean is, I believe I should have this. And if I say God gave it to me, you're not allowed to question it. It's not a statement of truth. It's a conversation ender. A way to dodge accountability. But rights don't come from heaven. They come from protest, from negotiation, from people standing up and saying, we deserve better. God didn't give you free speech. You fought for that. God didn't end slavery. Abolitionists did. God didn't give women the right to vote. Activists did. If rights were truly God-given, you wouldn't need armies to defend them, or governments to write them down, or revolutions to demand them. They'd just exist, naturally, equally, everywhere. But they don't. They're fragile. They vanish when societies collapse. They're stripped away by dictators, and handed out, or taken, by whoever has the most power. And the only thing that keeps them alive is us. Not prayer, not divine intervention, just people willing to protect what's right. So the next time someone yells, "That's my God-given right," ask them, what right did God give the kid in the sweatshop? The girl denied an education. The protester thrown in prison. What right did God give the man starving on that island? Because if rights come from God, he's got a pretty twisted distribution system. But if rights come from people, then we can build something better, something fairer, something real. God-given rights might sound holy, but human-given rights, those are the ones worth fighting for.